Good day, everybody. Here we are, and I'm looking. We're at the 23rd of August, 2025. We're going to talk about what's happening in real estate. I just finished a series, complete series. I'll do a final video right now. We'll talk about after you get the keys to your house, after all that's done, and you verify that you have all the keys, all the fobs, all the stuff for the mailbox, and you've done your change of address. You've switched over all the utilities in your name. The house is now yours, officially recorded, and you've gone through whatever time frame you need to wait to take possession of the property. Now you are a property owner. Now, for the most part, you'll probably not have a seamless mail changeover. It could be that you're going to still be getting old packages, old mail, and these sorts of things at your past residence. One of the things I will tell you, make sure you don't forget to go online. If you're an Amazon shopper or Sam's Club or whatever it may be, and you have these memberships to things being delivered, that should be something you consider changing over to the new residence at the time you start to occupy it. Make sure they know. And if you're on some kind of a mailing list, you might want to do this more earlier than later, because these deliveries might not be coming from the United States Postal Office. They might be coming through somewhere else. So therefore, they might need more of an upfront notice, because they might have your particular supplies stored somewhere locally or in closer proximity than, well, it's not coming through the post office. So you might be warehouse dependent. And if you didn't change your address with them and update that earlier, by the time it comes to shipping, more than likely that old address is going to get whatever packages or subscription services for delivery that you happen to have. And you can think of the food situation. If you have dogs in there on that fancy mail-in food as well, those sorts of things, any of the delivery services you have set up, a lot of people forget those. They're just so happy to have the house, and they've already done their main utilities, the electricity, the gas, the cable, the water, these sorts of things, cable, internet, and water. But then, then they neglect these other things. So don't forget that. So now you're in the house. You probably met the neighbors at some point at my instruction, usually at the very beginning. You're doing that door knocking due diligence, finding out who lives around you. And then after that point, now, of course, you have the property. What's next? Well, now that you're in there, you're going to want to do a walk around. You're going to want to go or look around the house and see what items might have been missed. Probably not much, but also to pay attention to any items that weren't addressed as far as the seller to repair. Maybe you received credits for certain things that you wanted to be fixed. Maybe they were health and safety things, but you decided it would be in best on your end to be able to have a credit for those and then get to those later. Later's the question. If there are issues, maybe electrical issues that you decided to take on yourself and just ask for a credit, which were agreed upon, you're not going to see that in real money. It's going to come off the sales price or be applied to some closing costs in there, but you're not going to actually be getting a check for those things unless that's part of the deal. But for the most part, it's going to be redacted or pulled off of closing costs, or maybe the sales price would be adjusted depending on how that negotiation was completed. Therefore, you now need to take care of those things. The longer you let it sit, the more dangerous, if they're health and safety issues, they will become. This includes electrical. This includes potential roof issues. Maybe you accepted the roof in its current condition, and maybe during the inspection processes, they had told you that these things need to be attended to. And what that means is, as long as it's not raining, you're probably okay. As long as there's no major holes in the roof that birds and other animals can get in. But when it rains, and even if those aren't your issues, maybe you have a cracked or slipped tile, maybe you have torn paper, maybe you have something else. When it starts to rain, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't see a lot of rain out here, but when it does, it causes a mess. And try to get a roofer then versus getting a roofer now. Good luck. They're all going to be completely tied up. If it's an electrical issue, who knows when that's going to go bad? Who knows when it's going to choose to have that moment of some kind of short and then create a fire in your residence? And also know this, if you have documentation, if you have some kind of an inspection, and whatever insurance carrier you happen to have, they happen to decide to let's do a little investigation and find out what happened on the inspection end that maybe the buyer should have attended to, didn't. agreed or the seller should have attended to, but through negotiation, it either was or wasn't. But then the buyer was made aware of it and they didn't do it. There's some neglect on that end. Watch out for that stuff. You should start taking care of things immediately. In addition, you're going to figure out what day of the week the trash comes, how that's going to look, how you put your containers out, if there are rules and regulations with the trash services. You might get a few times a year for bulk item pickup. Maybe you made an agreement with the seller where they could leave certain things at the property, and then after you moved in, you decided, well, I really don't want all this crap that they left behind. So now you're going to call the waste management or whatever company happens to be taking care of your trash with those big trucks and say, hey, can you come by? Can I get a special pickup? And they'll give you the day, how to package and leave it, and then the amount of stuff that they're going to take. And then a lot of that, there's some credits towards that. So you might be able to have that done free without charge. These are other things to consider. In addition, though, you got to really make sure that you look at what the condition of the property was. And if there were certain things you were going to do after, please take it from me. Don't let it sit. Just get it done right away. Wipe it out. Get it finished. I know you're going to be taxed for money after you buy your house. There were a lot of other expenses. Somebody's probably going to go get some furniture because maybe you don't have enough anymore, or you're tired of sitting on futon sofas. You want to get something real. I understand that, but the house structure itself is incredibly important to pay attention to, so you don't let it lapse. All right, so our daily update here in Santa Clarita Valley, I plugged in all this number. We have 10 coming soon listings all across the Santa Clarita Valley. If you haven't seen these, if you're on the buyer end of it, and you don't have access to them because you don't have an agent sending them to you, that's the only place to get them. Reach out to your real estate agent, say, listen, I want to have the coming soon listing sent to me, and they should be able to oblige easy. If you don't have an agent, hit me up, Connor McIver. I will send you all of the coming soon listings whenever they get publicized for sale. And you'll probably get an email 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how your frequency, because what will happen is you'll get emailed at the moment they hit the coming soon status in the market. You'll see it right away. Now, if you happen to have a particular criteria, you're only looking, let's say, for single family residences, and they have to have a minimum of 4-bedroom period in a price range of 900 to 1.2 million, then your notifications are going to be less because now we've dialed in the search. So when a property fits that criteria is coming soon, you're going to see it, but that frequency isn't going to be as if somebody doesn't have any kind of a parameter set up, and they're going to see everything as soon as they hit the coming soon status. They'll see all those listings. So if you want to give me, or if you're going to go through your agent to have this done, which I would recommend, if you don't have one, then hit me up. I'd love to apply for the job and win over you as a client, because it definitely is a win for me when somebody trusts me to represent them in buying and selling real estate. It makes me happy. So anyway, reach out. You can go to santaclaritacomingsoon.com and fill out the form there. You can just call me on the telephone. That works out well. Connor with Honor, you'll find me online. Cell phones, well, behind me, 661-400-1720. So hit me up. Tell me what areas you're looking for. We'll set up some parameters, and I'll get those sent to you. And finally, let's look at this. You want to buy or sell something, my best advice is always go into it understanding what you're about to get into. And the best way to do that is with a free consultation. ZoomMeSCV.com. ZoomMeSCV.com is the system. You go there, you'll see my calendar. You can schedule a Zoom call with me, and I'll go over the A to Z of real estate, whether you're on the buying end of it, selling end of it. And even if you're not in our market, I'll explain to you the discussion that you need to have with the real estate agent and the real estate lender to make sure that you're not getting ripped off and you're getting your best deal possible when it comes to commission, terms, points, fees, origination, all this fancy crap. I will explain all of it to you. I hope your weekend is wonderful. It is Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. I'm Connor with Honor. When you're ready, there's a full write-up already on this particular post. If you don't see the daily video on the homepage that I'm referencing in any video you're watching, then just go to the blog and you'll hunt it down that way. SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com/blog. I'm Connor with Honor. We will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. There's the off button. I found it. Take care.